As we begin the month of February and of course the celebration of African American History Month, we're talking about history makers. And in our state, we have a history maker who holds the title of Attorney General. And of course, that is Attorney General Daniel Cameron. Attorney General, thank you so much for joining me today.
Well, happy to be here. Thank you for having me. I appreciate it.
Let's talk a little bit about this. This has been quite a year for everybody, and no doubt it has been quite a year for you. You're the first elected official, statewide elected official of African American descent, our first African American Attorney General. You've had some big cases in the news. We have COVID, and of course you got married, so congratulations to you on that.
Thank you.
Let's talk a little bit about the significance to you of this first year, this marker of this first year. What has been for you the most significant?
Well, obviously, I wake up every morning and just grateful with the blessing and the opportunity to serve as the 51st Attorney General here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and to have that moniker placed next to my name as the first independently elected African American to hold statewide office. It is a huge responsibility, one that I take very seriously. And this past year was a year of a great challenge but also great opportunity. And so what I've said from the very beginning when I was sworn in was that there will never be easy answers that come out of this office. There will be challenges that come down the pike. But we have to be willing to confront them because that's why you're put in these positions of leadership, and you know that you will be tested from time to time. And certainly last year, 2020, was a year of testing. But what I've hoped people will see is that in this role, we are always going to be responsible to the law and to the facts. And so that's what we've endeavored to do. Whether it be on some of the high-profile matters that we've had that come out of this office, and even some of the things that we've done sort of behind the scenes, whether it be putting forth a child abuse prosecution toolkit to help our prosecutors and investigators across Kentucky better prosecute and investigate child abuse cases, whether it be the work that we've done to bring more awareness to human trafficking in the form of House Bill 2 that passed last year, that basically requires facilities all across the Commonwealth, namely truck stops and airports and facilities of the like, to display the National Human Trafficking Hotline. There have been some incredible, again, challenges, but some opportunities as well to stand up for the rule of law, to defend the constitutional rights of our citizens, and to really respect the law without fear or favor. I hope people understand that in the role of Attorney General, that's what we've endeavored to do over the course of this last year.
But Attorney General, with all due respect, that is the one thing that especially the African American community feels that you have not fulfilled for them. And in light of last Friday, on the 22nd, the filing of a petition for impeachment for you based on their feeling that you breached their trust. You, they say, misrepresented findings, especially in the Breonna Taylor case. What are your feelings about that? Because that's going to be a part of your legacy.
Well, look, I'm confident in the team that we had working with the grand jury, the presentation of the evidence that was put forth to the grand jury. Again, I understand that on these high-profile matters, that there will never be 100% agreement when those decisions are made, and I take full responsibility for those decisions, and that is something that I will always have to bear. Again, there are no easy answers that come out of this office, especially on these high-profile matters, but my responsibility, as I've said from the very beginning, is to the law. And make no mistake about it, and I've said this from the beginning, that what happened in the early morning hours of March 13th was a tragedy. And sometimes our law is inadequate to address a tragedy. But I still have to dispense with the responsibility in the Attorney General's office to do what is appropriate under the law and apply the law to the facts That's what our team did. That was what they did consistent with their presentation to the grand jury. And I'll allow the grand jurors to speak and allow for that process to unfold. But I'm confident in the presentation to the grand jury and confident of the recommendations that our team made.
There are so many little boys and little girls in the Commonwealth, teenagers, boys and girls, black and white and everything in between, who are looking at you and watching you as a role model of someone who played football for U of L and who went on to then go to law school, finish law school, and rise to the highest office as far as jurisprudence is concerned in our state. What do you feel is your obligation as a man, as a Kentuckian, as a black man in Kentucky, to those children and to their ideals of what they can become in the future?
Well, I hope what people, regardless of their color and race, see is that if you look like me, then you can rise to the role of Attorney General here in the Commonwealth of Kentucky, and you can aspire to other offices in public life. And that all that Kentuckians care about is, do your values reflect the values of the men, women, and children across all 120 counties? And I attempted over the course of a pretty long campaign to demonstrate my heart and demonstrate my values and them being reflective of the Commonwealth, and have tried to continue to do that in this role. And so I hope children of all ages and all races will look at me not as as someone to aspire to, but to inspire them to be greater and to just keep pushing that ball forward in terms of the responsibility that we have as a collective citizenry to improve the lives of every Kentuckian and frankly every American. And so we've endeavored to do that with the team that we have in this office, whether it be on issues related to COVID-19, whether it be in defending constitutional rights, whether it be our consumer protection unit that has tried to bring in dollars back to the Commonwealth to help restore men and women who have struggled with opioid abuse and addiction, whether it be our human trafficking unit that has tried to raise awareness for some of the human trafficking atrocities that we see here in Kentucky, and pushing back against the scourge against child abuse. These are all important issues, and I hope, again, that the children that watch and hear the words that come out of my mouth, I hope that they understand that I try to convey a civil tone in my conversation and how I communicate with people, because I think that is what my faith teaches me. And so, one, I hope that they take something from the way I try to communicate, and two, that they look at me and say, you know what, I can rise to be the Attorney General here in Kentucky, or I can rise to be the governor or treasurer or ag commissioner. I can run for any statewide office here in Kentucky and get a fair shake if I represent the values of Kentuckians. I hope that's what children see by my time here as Attorney General.
Sir, if you will indulge me, just one question with some levity to it. All right, so we had football yesterday. 2 amazing games. So, weigh in. Kansas City Chiefs or Tampa Bay Buccaneers? What's yours? Right here.
Well, let me first say you were very generous in that description of my time at the University of Louisville as a football player. I tell people I often had the best seat in the house, which was on the bench. I spent a lot of time there rooting for other people that were much more talented than I was, but it was a great experience. Look, I'm excited about the matchup in a couple of weeks. Obviously, Tom Brady represents the old guard, if you will, but still playing. He's innovating. I think that's incredibly important to note, is that he's, regardless of the team he's on, he's continuing to innovate and find ways to get his receivers the ball and get the ball to his running backs and really be a motivator for the team. And then you've got Mahomes on the other side, who's a part of this new guard in the NFL. And so it's going to be a really exciting matchup. Two pretty potent offenses, and their defenses have come to play during the midst of these playoffs. So I'm excited about it. It's going to be a fun game, and I'm sure to eat a lot of chicken wings.
True. That'll happen at our house too. Attorney General Daniel Cameron, thank you so very much for your time this afternoon.
Thank you.